the monument dedicated to Ida B. Wells Barnett. It's officially dedicated to an African-American woman by the city, but it's not on a place that's easy accessible. We were just on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, and that place gets about 200,000 visitors or cars a day. We're on 37th and Langley now, and unless you're black, and probably unless you live on this block, you're not going to see this monument. And that's the problem that we have not only in Chicago but in America. We need to do a better job of honoring our heroes in public spaces. Had they put this monument on King Drive where more people could see it, maybe more people would be interested in our shared histories, which would do a better job of uniting us.
Wake up.
What a day, what a day. 9:30 call with WBEZ. Let's see, 10:30 call Chicago Symphony Center. 12 o'clock interview with Newsy. I gotta be at work at 2 o'clock. But then when I get there, I gotta take a break to go live with the Washington Post. On my lunch break is a WGN interview. And I got a meeting with the production company on this thing I'm writing. And that's today.
I'm just taking this little nap on Daddy. I'm taking a nap. Her.
I wish I was saying she hamming it up, but she ain't.
I wish my dad was not busy today.
Aww. I'm busy for you though, G.
Hey,
Don't worry, you're gonna appreciate it.
but you always are working and never play with me.
I'll play with you sometime. What's that?
Good.
Who's that?
Jacob.
Jacob, come here.
What scares you the most?
Failing to make my kids proud, failing to make a difference in my community that certainly needs a difference to be made there. Not reaching my full potential, that scares me. I had a rebirth like maybe 30. It's when I started to tell myself, get out my own way. Just give the best in everything you do. I kind of, kids don't take after strangers, and if you expect them to work hard, they gotta see you working hard. On my mom's side, her grandpa came to Chicago in 1931 to work for the railroad. So it's been a person in my family here for almost 100 years, right? 91 years. My dad, Vietnam veteran, came home. He was a CTA, which is the Chicago Transit Authority. He was a bus driver. And then he became a Chicago police officer, but not just that. He was a Chicago police officer during a real, crazy time. The assassination of Fred Hampton, the turbulent 70s, the growth of the black gang structures. And he saw all of that. But he also was Mayor Harold Washington's, he was a part of that bodyguard detail. Harold Washington is the first black mayor of Chicago. He was also a part of Carol Moseley Braun's detail. She's the first ever black woman to be a U.S. senator. He was on Bobby Rush's security detail. And so, he was really connected to people who made history in this city. And he'd explain it that, what he did mattered to the city. And someday he hoped what his children did for a living would matter for the city, My metric, my bar in life is my dad. And so I'm trying to kick his ass in everything. And so, what age did he buy a house? What age did he retire? What age did he make $100,000, per year or stuff like that? How many times he take his kids to Disney? And I'm trying to stomp him. And I look at and I think he would want me to. And so that's my metric. So when I remember being a kid and something was wrong with his hands. He was doing this. I was like, man, what's wrong with your hands? And he was like, oh man, nothing, don't worry about it. I later came to find out that that he was a bike cop. And his hands was hurt from just riding a damn motorcycle all damn day. And so then the next day after my mother told me why his hands was hurting, I was like, oh man, why don't you just get another job? And he looked at his hands and he was like, man, I work these hands to the bone for y'all. And man, like, I never forgot that. So I don't know where he got that from, but I know where I get it from. I got it from him. My mom was an oncology nurse at the University of Chicago, which is a very prestigious university here. You know, just their blue collar and you know, taking public transportation and going to all the festivals. Like we're solid Chicago folks. My dad used to work all the sporting events. And so when he saw sporting events, he thought about them in work terms, you know, the unruly drunks in right field or the, you know, the fights at the hockey game. But my mom really enjoyed like the sportsmanship. She understood that like just playing the game changed a lot of people's lives, their families and that type of stuff. So she was the biggest sports fan and a huge boxing fan. So nowadays when I'm in Chicago neighborhoods, it reminds me of the Roddy Piper movie, They Live, came out in the late 80s. You know, when he puts the shades on, he can see everything others can't see, right? He sees that they were among aliens. He sees all the messaging and programming when he has those shades on. It's kind of how I feel when I'm in Chicago neighborhoods now, like because of the level of historical research I do. I don't just see a block, I see who the block was built by, what demographic of people built it. I see, sadly, sometimes I see displacement stories. I see, you know, neighborhoods being taken over via gentrification. That's a great origin story. My friend called me, he said, hey man, we're hiring over here at ComEd and we got temporary meter readers, but it pays $17.50 an hour. This was in 2011. So it pays $17.50 an hour. You'll be off on weekends. And if you don't mess it up, you could promote up and you'll be in six figures in 3 to 4 years. And I was like, what? Sign me up. So, and my God, as a person who loves history, that's probably the best job I've ever had in my life. It's very fulfilling. There's nothing in the world like showing up to a high rise and the power's turned off and everybody's freaked out and there are two people stuck in an elevator. And because I know what I'm doing, I can get them on their emergency power and switch them on. And when you walk out of that electrical vault, everybody's clapping for you. It's like the coolest thing in the world. We wear 12 kV switching cape. And every time I put it on, I feel like a superhero. I gotta apologize to everybody who ain't line workers who going to hear this. The line workers, we run the show. We make the whole thing go around. And while they don't have movies dedicated to us and, you know, kids don't dress up like linemen on Halloween, just know that we're the reason that all that stuff works. It's our dedication, rain, sleet, or snow, that keeps the country energized. You know, just as a society, we got to do better with letting people from marginalized spaces know that these type of jobs exist. I had no idea that, you know, there were the trades, or you hear that such thing as a trade, right? You know there's such thing as a carpenter, but nobody really explains to you what it takes to get in that pipeline, get in the pipeline to be an electrician. You could have a thriving career. You know, I tell the world, I make $54 an hour, you know, that's great. And of course, like relative to like Jeff Bezos, that ain't a whole lot of money, but to be a black man, I don't think 10% of black men make $100,000 a year. Right. And I'm one of the 10% of all the black men in America that make $100,000 a year. That makes me proud. It makes me proud that we can't go to Disney every year, right? But every 2 years I could take my kids to Disney if we save. And I can't buy every pair of Jordans that come out, but I can buy the ones I want, and my wife isn't gonna yell because I have to choose between that and a prescription.
What would your father be most proud of? What do you want your children to be most proud of?
I think that those probably all the same answer. I think my dad would be most proud that I'm an active father. That despite having a blended family, despite having 7 kids, despite becoming a father when I was 17 and didn't know what the hell I was going to do with anything, I gave it my all like I saw him do. I don't want to get choked up. I love my pops, man. So I think he'd be much proud. He'd be super proud of that. I think same thing for my kids when I'm gone. I want them to really feel like I gave them my everything.